Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to speak to you today because not too long ago, I sat where you are sitting. I was a GG volunteer for the Townsend Harris High School, and then I moved on to Albany. It is a privilege to speak to you here today because 7 years ago, I spoke at the first ever GLTI, so this is somewhat nostalgic. Now I'm an alumni advisory board member and a tax associate at PwC, one of the big 4 accounting firms. But my enthusiasm and passion for the GlamourGals Foundation and program has only continued to grow. I started as a GG volunteer 8 years ago when I saw the flyer in my high school hallway. I was attracted to the concept of makeup to make someone feel better about themselves. And having a grandmother in a nursing home, I knew how powerful that could be for the nursing home residents. All of us volunteers became involved with GlamourGals because we have a passion to help our community, ambition, and are hardworking. You should all be very proud of yourselves. I'd like to join me in a round of applause because I think the reason you all are here today and the qualities you exhibit are really inspirational. Something I realized years later as I look back on my accomplishments and simultaneous involvement with the GlamourGals Foundation is that my volunteer service has prepared me far beyond what I have realized. I was awarded a scholarship to college, offered an internship at a Big 4 accounting firm, and ultimately accepted a job position at PwC 1 year ago. Being a part of a chapter, I learned valuable leadership skills that led me to this success. In the nursing home and at chapter meetings, I honed my teamwork and communication skills, my public speaking skills when I spoke at that first ever GLTI, and as co-president of 2 chapters, I learned how to organize and motivate my peers to make a difference in the community. And the best part, I did it all while doing something that I loved. I encourage all of you to speak about your involvement in GlamourGals and use these lessons to help you achieve the goals that you have for yourself. But I haven't even shared the best part. Look around. You get to meet 100 more of your peers that have the same values, leadership skills, and ambition as you do. And it doesn't stop there. As you transition to college and then your career, as you demonstrate these skills, you have the privilege of sharing conversations and networking with other women leaders, many of which will become role models for you, or already have. I would like to introduce one of these women to you today. I first met Sheri when I interned at PwC. I was an intern and she was a managing director leading tax projects for technology, manufacturing, and telecommunication clients. Sheri is always very inviting and has such a positive attitude. She is evidently hardworking and accomplished. Many of my coworkers speak of her as an individual they respect and example for their careers at PwC. So please join me in inviting Sheri to speak to you about ways to help you be successful in the face of challenges.
I'm a managing director at PwC, and I have been in the tax world for the past 23 years in public accounting firms as well as private industry. I graduated Syracuse University with a major in accounting, and obviously I like math. My 14-year-old daughter doesn't like math. She likes to sing, act, and dance. So when I tell her how important math is, I get the infamous eye roll, like, yeah, right, Mom. But look who's on stage now, the math lover. So to start, I'd like everyone to stand up. We're going to take an interactive poll. Everybody up. And I'm going to ask you a few questions. And if your answer is no, take a seat. If your answer is yes, stay standing. Have you encountered a challenge in the past 6 months? All right, no one hurts. Anybody, have you encountered a challenge in the past month? How about in the past week? Thank you. Take a seat. Take a look around. Everybody encounters challenges. On the screen, you could see a bunch of challenges that I think are pretty common. In fact, I've experienced them personally myself. In fact, I'm still experiencing some of them as I go through life with my children. Challenges can be small, they could be recurring, they could be a one-time event. But it's not the challenge itself that defines a person, it's how you deal with them. And I'd like to share my first working experience with you. Like I said, I graduated from Syracuse University back in 1988, and I was so excited to start my job at another public accounting firm. The reason why it was so exciting is back then, nobody was able to start in the tax department directly. Everybody had to go through audit. So this was a new opportunity in the accounting world. So here I am, 21 years old, commuting from New Jersey to New York, starting in a tax department. The group was about 20 people, and I was the only female. I was still very excited about my new endeavor and very happy to start my career. Every day, I'd wear my suit, because back then it was ultra conservative, but I still had my accessories, because I'm a trinkets girl. And I would walk through the halls and say, good morning, and get favorable reactions from most of the people. About a month after I started, a male supervisor pulled me aside and said, Sheri, you are just way too happy for the real world. I was devastated. I didn't even do any work yet, and I'm being reprimanded for being happy, positive, and excited about starting my new job. So in reflecting on that experience, I wanted to come up with a top 10 list of how to overcome challenges. Number 10, recognize a challenge exists. Denying that you have a challenge doesn't make it go away. It's best if you accept it, embrace it, and face it head on. Number 9, stay calm. All right, you're allowed to freak out initially, but the best thing to do is to stay calm in any situation. Staying calm will allow you to think rationally and be able to come up with a future plan. And staying calm is very good for your complexion. The alternative is not the best way to go. Number 8, ask a friend, mentor, or relative for advice. You have your network of personal friends. They are the best people who have your best interests at heart. It's always wise to ask them for advice. Number 7, develop a plan with goals, both short-term and long-term. Plans could be simple. They typically could be to-do lists. Having short-term goals and long-term goals will enable you to embrace any challenge that comes your way. For example, my mother remarried and we moved when I was a junior in high school. Faced with the challenge of starting a new school was not fun. So in order to deal with that, in the fall, I joined field hockey. In the winter, I joined cheerleading. And in the spring, I played softball. So I kind of had the whole year covered. But had Rachel been born 20 years earlier, and maybe a GlamourGals chapter would have been there, I would have been set for the year. Number 6, check in periodically and redefine as necessary. Again, a plan could be a to-do list. Checking in with yourself to see if you accomplished the goals that you've established in the beginning is always a good idea. And also, your path could change. So redefining that path would be the best thing to do. Number 5, your path has to be redefined and you need to be flexible. Sometimes roadblocks are thrown in your way and unforeseen circumstances may prevent you from accomplishing the goal or the challenge that you initially set out. Number 4, don't be afraid to make mistakes and learn from them. Making mistakes is the whole part of growth. I like to set a personal goal Monday through Friday. I take Saturday and Sunday off for this. But Monday through Friday, I always challenge myself to try and learn something new. Have you seen all the buttons on the BlackBerry? I am not an expert on the BlackBerry, thank God for my kids. So I'm constantly learning something every day. Number 3, communicate openly. don't internalize. If you don't share your feelings or your challenges with others, you're only getting one point of view. Getting others to help you form your path or your plan of attack will benefit you in the end. Number 2, be true to yourself. Don't sacrifice your beliefs for anybody else. Trust your judgment. And my number 1 tip for overcoming challenges, shockingly enough, is to be positive. Challenges can be negative, and they may take you out of your comfort zone, but being positive in your approach will enable you to have a more productive resolution. And remember that male supervisor? The one who told me I was too happy for the real world? Well, after a few weeks of contemplating how am I supposed to behave as I'm working, I thought about it and I said, I like being happy. I like being upbeat, and I like being positive. So I realized that's not my challenge, that's his challenge. And I didn't change. And being positive has contributed to my success in work and in life. Thank you.